Hi there, my name is Fraser. I'm a landscape artist based on the east coast of Scotland, and I thought I would try my hand at documenting my process when it comes to making an oil painting. Not entirely sure if I've got the necessary personality to pull off a YouTube type endeavour, but we'll see how we get on today. So the scene I'm painting here is quite near Lunan Bay, which is a beautiful beach in Angus County. It's not too far away from where I live. The day in question, we just had some snowfall, so I thought it would be a good opportunity to go out and get some source material for doing some winter themed pieces. So what I'm doing here is just how I usually start a painting. I like to work from top to bottom, so I'm just getting the sky blocked in to begin with. On my palette, I usually start just with the colours that we need to get the sky seen to, and then I gradually add other colours as I go along. So to begin with, I've got ultramarine blue. Next up from that, I've got King's Blue Pale from Jackson's art, their own brand of paints. That was a new one for me. I hadn't used that before, but that proved to be really handy. Not at this stage, but a little bit later on. The colour that I'm using just now to get the sky in is Winsor & Newton's manganese blue, which I absolutely love. I really enjoy using that blue for getting skies. I find if I just mix it in with titanium white like I'm doing just now, it really helps convey the colour of the sky most of the time. Just up in the top right hand corner of my palette, I've got some violet. That's useful for getting in clouds and things of that nature. And then my medium of choice, which you can see just in the middle of the palette there, that's liquid impasto. I really enjoy using that stuff. It helps preserve the heavy texture that I like to convey in my paintings, and also has the added bonus of making the paint dry a little bit quicker, and also gives a nice sheen to the paint once it dries as well. So as you can see, I've kind of blocked in the sky there, and I'm now focusing on the clouds. So I'm still using the manganese blue and titanium white mix, but I'm just adding more white to it, and also a little bit of violet as well, just to kind of help differentiate the clouds from the rest of the sky. I'm gradually just working my way down and kind of getting towards the stage where I'm going to be thinking about how to convey the distant landscape. So as you can see, I've made a start on that here. That King's Blue Pale from Jackson's, that proved to be really useful here, and because obviously landscape that's off in the distance, the saturation is quite low on those colours, so I didn't want it to be too different from the elements of the sky. I'm just adding in some tree line stuff here to help define the horizon line, and then also adding some information in the midground. Again, the saturation isn't too high for these elements, but I'm gradually kind of building it up just to try and create that illusion of depth and distance. I'm also not too preoccupied with putting in too much detail just now. I'm just trying to block everything in, and that will help inform me how to convey the foreground elements later on. I'm just putting in these trees in the foreground because they're a little bit closer. There's a little bit more colour information with regards to those. So I'm just trying to bring in a little bit more in the way of warm tones to help get that point across. Just adding some snow on the fields off in the distance as well. And gradually building up the warmth in the mid-ground here as well. I think at this stage it's just a case of suggestion, so the changes in tone don't have to be too drastic. You know, but quite often it ends up just being very subtle, but it's enough to give the eye the information it needs to put everything together. So I'm now kind of moving further towards the foreground stuff. So I've got this field here. There was definitely a lot more green featured in this part. Didn't have as much snow on it, so that's helping me create that illusion of depth as well by adding in some tonal variation. Again, just blocking it in for the time being with the intention of coming back a little bit later to put in a little bit more detail and information. So I'm now starting to put in the snow that was in the track. So again, that King's Blue Pale from Jackson's art was really, really useful. It was exactly the colour that I was looking for to get that stuff down. So I've blocked all of that in. I've also added in darker tones to represent the hedgerow on either side of the path, and now I'm just kind of beginning to build up detail. So the field, although it hadn't had as much snow as other places within the landscape, there was a little bit there, so I'm just trying to show the specks of snow that had fallen in between the furrowed field. And I have to apologise at this point. Started this painting in the afternoon and the light was behind me, so there's unfortunately a fair amount of glare at the moment. But despite that, I'm trying my best to get this tree represented as well. I'm not trying to do too much, just suggest branches, and obviously because I'm using a palette knife, it's not really possible to go into exact detail with it, but that's the way I prefer to paint. I like to kind of just give an impression of things rather than be too preoccupied with fine detail and accurate representation. So with all those darker elements now in place, I'm just kind of going over everything again and trying to introduce a little bit more in the way of warm tones and picking out all the highlights that I see in the source image. And with the snow being the obvious candidate for that, so I'm just looking at all these lighter areas using titanium white and a little bit of lemon yellow mixed in just to make those areas pop, as it were. Yeah, and also just picking out details way off in the distance as well. Again, apologies for the glare. It's a little bit annoying, but sometimes when I'm standing up like I am just now, I'm helping to block it out so you can hopefully see what I'm going for. So I'm just picking out the little areas of snow that the sun was able to capture on the opposite side of the bank, and then also trailing that into the field as well. Okay, so this is how things were looking at the end of the first day. Decided to give myself a little break before going back to it and seeing what it was needing. So this is the second day, and I wanted to try and make those highlights in the snow a little bit more apparent. At this stage, it's just very much a case of just adding tiny little details, just enough to make things work the way I hope. I'm also using a smaller palette knife at this point as well, not needing to make so many large gestures with paint. It's more a case of just going in and highlighting little areas in the hope that I can kind of define things a little bit more. Just trying to introduce warmer elements into this hedgerow. Quite often it's a case of trial by error. Sometimes I'll think a colour will work, and as soon as I apply it, or I kind of come to realise it's maybe too much or too little. So it's just a case of going over things and seeing what works, and taking a step back from the canvas and see things from afar and just see if there's enough information, or if I've conveyed enough information to make the painting work. So this is more or less finished now, I think. Just let you have a look at it here before going in for a closer look. I think I'm quite happy with this one. I'll maybe live with it for a little while before making a decision as to whether or not I want to go back into it and add anything. If I do, it will just be minor details. I think it's important to know when to step back from a painting and not do too much, because of course the danger is you can end up overworking a piece, which I've unfortunately fallen victim to a few times in the past. So I try to be quite disciplined and not do that if I can. But yeah, I hope you found this interesting. Yeah, if you do, please like and subscribe and all that nonsense. Thank you.